All right, welcome to Raising Funds for World Domination, day number 186. So, the updates for today. Once again, we won the verdict in the eviction case. Word on the street is they may try to appeal it, though. I think they have a month to do that. Today's another weekday, and I still have not been served with anything, so we'll see if that actually materializes. But until then, we're all still good to stay in the apartment. Moving on, the next outstanding item I've been working on lately is the Shopify Store. There's no updates on that today. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to do with this appeal process for the misleading getting flagged in Google Merchant Center. So once again, that getting flagged in Google Merchant Center means that the Shopify links won't appear on YouTube, which was the entire point of using Shopify. I may have to, I think tomorrow, it said I had to wait a week. Tomorrow I can apply again, but I haven't changed anything, so it would probably just get denied again. I don't know. I'll have to, there were some YouTube videos I saw about a guy saying like what you should do to pass that misleading flag, but it was really like qualitative things. So it was like the graphic design on your store and stuff, which, I mean, the graphic design is fine. It's annoying because I just want to know if they want me to fix something, I'll fix it. But anyway, everything that's been ordered. So if you ordered a physical item, it's been shipped, and you should receive it probably within 14 days or so if you're in the US. And Canada Post may go on strike again in November. I found that out recently. That'll be interesting because then that'll coincide with the Christmas season, so that'll make it that'll put us in even more epic, dire financial straits. And if you want to buy a dedicated block type, there's 2 new ore types in the Shopify store. Okay, the marketing video, which that's what most of my day is spent on now. I did not get any recording done today, but I did get the last, get what I had yesterday edited. So we're probably at 85% done editing. And actually the runtime is running quite high, so it's, I think I will probably split it into at least a couple of videos, but I'll have to, once I have the, like kind of the, close to the final edit, I'll think about it. And I guess tomorrow I'll probably be able to record that extra last 10%. Canada Postal Strike, round 3. Yeah, we had one last year, and then there was one a few days ago. We had one it might even be round 4. I don't even remember. And they also shut down a bunch during COVID and stuff. Orthoplex 64, how's it going? Frogs are so cool. I wish they were real. Yeah, me too. I know the feeling. All right. Now let's continue on with what we do most streams, is work on the terminal block mining simulation game. So yesterday I actually made a decent amount of progress. So the I'm still working away on the generic list UI feature. Some of the last bugs I was trying to fix were related to making sure the selected item on the list is always on the screen, like even if you change the window and stuff. But I was getting so many bugs with that would happen just because my math for doing all this stuff was overly complicated. So it made sense to refactor, have like another step where instead of just considering the list being like a one-dimensional list and then trying to wrap that around, I just basically flatten the one-dimensional list onto a grid and then update that every time and then iterate over the grid to render that. So I updated that to work with this view. Now, a consequence of this. Oh, interesting. That's wrong. Scroll bar is wrong. That'll be another thing to fix. Yeah. So the next thing I'll do is I can eliminate some variables. I had a whole bunch of modulos and stuff everywhere that was just making things more complicated than they need to be. Doing something called rotational strike, I believe. It's confusing. Yeah, I don't know. I talked to the person at Canada Post, and I don't know. She said that things are moving, but I think she said like they had some like tentative agreement, so that's why they kind of decided to do this like not very real strike, so that things are kind of moving. And they said they internally they have some like deadline of like November 1st or something, and so if they don't finalize that by November 1st, then they'll have an actual strike. Giordani says, hello, I like chess. Awesome. I don't really know much about chess. It's never really been an interest of mine. Okay. So one of the things I think I can do is probably eliminate this variable and maybe even this one, or at least eliminate them as a member variable. Hackmatrix says, hey, new world scene. I like your channel. Excellent. What's your purpose? My purpose? I'm not sure how to answer that. Same, I guess. The meaning of life? An interesting question, nonetheless. I guess it needs context more than anything. Okay, so one of the next things I can do is I got a bunch of modulos everywhere. There's a lot of planes flying overhead. Let's create a cult. That does sound pretty cool, but I think it'd be better to build an empire, because cults are not very sustainable. You need like economies and stuff. Duke Bias says, "Yo, how's it going?" Woodchip says, "Hello, Mr. Elder. How's it going?" Let's create a religion with different branches and call them frameworks. It's a good idea, and we can publish them to NPM, and then you can install a different religion. How's Ultra Pac-Man coming along? Oh, the game, you mean? It's kind of coming along. I had hoped to be done this UI feature by now, but it's I think I'm nearing the end of this feature. At least it's going to be a scrollable list, and I think while I'm at it, I might as well just make it so I can scroll in two directions. But I'm in the middle of kind of refactoring how it's rendered. Live close to where presidents fly into New York on those vertical takeoff jets. Neat. Empires require a cult. Throw an empire into cult. Well, once I can get some revenue going, then that can finance the cult, because you gotta print flyers for your cult, and those are expensive. Nobody's gonna join a cult while the flyers are printed in black and white. You need expensive color inks and stuff, and that color ink is expensive. Our empire will run on Linux. Yes, it will. What is the temperature? The temperature is 1. Thank you for asking. npm install hyperx Axel or whatever. Axel Heiberg. Cults don't need money. I doubt the factual accuracy of that. AI generated flyers. Well, even if they're AI generated, you still need to print them. Oh, the chat is active tonight. Tax in the case of an imperial cult. Don't need money. All the work would be done by volunteering. Yeah, maybe. But I don't know, it's people can only give up so much of their time before they need food. Should I create a bank? Yeah, I'll do that too. You think blockchain will be more relevant in our lives in the future? I know there's like elements of the government that want. It seems like the thesis statement of what like blockchain technology is good for changes every like 2 or 3 years. I mean, honestly, it's kind of impressive. Like when Bitcoin was first a thing, it was discussed as it was for microtransactions. So in the future, everything was going to be a way to monetize like views on a website, or you would visit a blog post, and then you would like be able to pay the person like half a cent or something by visiting the blog post. That was the original thesis of it back around 2012 or so, when people first started talking about it. And then it became just like a speculative asset, and then it was about like programmable money. And of course we had the NFT phase, and now they're talking about all these like treasury-backed stable coins and stuff. And it just seems like there's a different scam every few years, and I don't pay attention to it. Like the Mormon Church, I don't know much about the Mormon Church. Joanne Merville says, hi all. How's it going? What's the name of your game again? I just been calling it Terminal Block Mining Simulation Game. I haven't given it any more. I think that name makes sense for now, for marketing. Do you have a timer on, chat? My messages keep not showing up. I haven't. Do you mean like a chat rate or something? Like, do you mean it's lagging before your messages show up, or there's like if you chat too fast, it's swallowing some of them? Because it might be there might be like some default value. Probably this might be a max chat rate, which is probably fine to keep as is. Sell the naming rights? Not right now. Just call it World Domination. Maybe if I can get if I never get this list finished, so that people can actually play it. Can't get some of the messages through. Yeah, it might just be auto censoring you. I guess that your rate of chatting is higher tonight, so I think that's one thing I've noticed is if people chat, like if people send lots of chats, then it seems to increase the threshold for when it doesn't show your messages. I'll start the GitHub repo for the cult. We already have a Git repo. It's in the link in the description. let's just do the movements first. What's your favorite color? Blue is a pretty good color. I'm stoked. On Friday, signed a SaaS contract for my software. Nice. It's is that software that you're writing? Like you're on independent business software? It's a B2B SaaS product that helps people inspect petitions to see if signatures are valid. I'm the main author. Nice. And do you get all of the profits? Or I guess or a respectable share? That's not right. Got an equal split with 2 partners. Nice. Yeah, that's good. Especially in this economy where I saw there was tons of layoffs stuff the other day. Everyone's losing their jobs. So it's good to see there's still some business going on. Grant S says hi. Hello. How's it going? GR Danny says hi, how are you? I'm good. How are you? After a merge, the app would spin up on a server. Kind of felt like a cult. I'm not sure what that's referring to. What app you're referring to? Would have made more writing crypto gravy train than the AI gravy. Yeah, it's also speculative. You never know if it's actually going to work out or not. I mean, I bought Bitcoin way back in the day, and the big problem is holding on to it. All the exchanges back then were super sketchy. Still possible to make money by actually being productive. Yeah, it does seem, the economy does seem to be getting increasingly crazy though. Original message got censored. Oh yeah. Yeah, YouTube does that sometimes. Chaos the bot. Chaos on GitHub was a repo that spun up on a server and watched the repo for PRs. People could merge PRs with thumbs up on the PR. When the tech apocalypse happens, there will be a few people with the ability to actually see value, access to capital. They'll make loads of money. Yeah, I hope some of the right people start making money. I've seen some diagrams about like apparently we have this like circular money economy now where all these companies own part of NVIDIA, and they're buying NVIDIA chips, which makes NVIDIA stock go up. So there's like this huge AI bubble of like circular money. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, we can only print numbers in a database so many times until we have to actually produce something useful. Did I break something? Controlled by people entirely. It felt like. Oh, okay. I'm doing great. Trying to build a blog using different technologies. Decided to create it with WordPress. Yeah, WordPress is a good way to get fast results. Feeling a bit stuck, now feeling more relaxed. Yeah, it takes a long time to learn software development. Talked about that on this chat before. Many others. NVIDIA invests $10 billion in OpenAI, but it's just store credit. OpenAI buys $10 million worth of GPUs. Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to get in on this bubble. It'd be nice to Like, there's going to be so many people who will make insane amounts of money off of this for doing nothing. But unless you have like inside knowledge, it's not clear if it's going to work out for you. Found WordPress to be difficult. I kind of did too, even though it's like the simplest, most popular web framework. I mean, it's been around for ages, but there's a bunch of aspects of it that, I guess as a developer, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense. OpenAI's investment. NVIDIA has revenue. But actually all that happened was NVIDIA wasted a bunch of money on GPUs that will never make a return. Yeah, and I'm sure there's some government money disappearing in there too. Okay, that works. Imagine OpenAI's revenue is crazy high. I think I remember watching a video about that recently, and their revenue was like they had, I don't know, millions or billions of revenue, but the costs of running OpenAI are like 10 times that, whatever their revenue was. But OpenAI is making less than some F2P mobile games. They have 12 billion annualized revenue. What are their expenses? I tried Astro and Pelican, but I'm trying to focus on the simplest tool. And we'll see if WordPress gives me good results. WordPress, I think, it makes sense. Like, I would recommend it to like non-technical people. You can technically get into like doing plugins and stuff with WordPress, but you have to really learn the API for the framework and stuff. And I mean, I made like one WordPress framework back in the day, But I don't think it's a framework worth learning unless you plan to focus specifically on it and put a lot of work into it. It's a really very mature framework. I think a lot of people now try to just do static hosting, because WordPress is always famous for getting hacked. Honor of Kings, 13.2 billion. Thoughts of the future of computer science related jobs. Oh, look, especially in Canada. Is the AI replacement issue blown out of proportion, or will it result in only senior devs having a chance? I think for the near term, prospects are probably bleak for just because of a number of things, like the labor market. Like there's a huge Amazon said they were laying off a ton of people. I think that might have been laborers, but I mean there was it's not hard to find people citing that there's lots of tech layoffs going on. So I think there's several things going on. A lot of them are like, we're in a different part of the financial cycle, so everything is about money, and interest rates are high right now, which means that investment capital is not chasing these like lucrative startups. That's a really significant thing. There was also changes like to the U.S. tax code, which that even like affects Canada by proxy, because the industry rises and falls together. There was changes to the tax code a few years ago that made it so for certain like software development work, you had to claim it as like you had to depreciate it. So there's that. I think it'll come back. Like what I've seen with AI so far is impressive. I haven't actually done too much AI coding, but from what I see, my impression is it's bad enough that I don't want to use it, but it's good enough that it's clear that I'm going to have to like learn this eventually. So I think there's still going to be jobs for devs, but and then another thing about companies are saying it's more advantageous to your stock price to say that if you say, hey, I made my company more efficient, so I'm going to lay people off. I made it more efficient with AI. Then your stock price goes up because people assume you have the same revenue and you lower your expense base. But if you tell them the truth, which is that that actually your revenue went down, and that's why you're laying people off, that's not good, because that makes your stock go down. Because people will say, oh crap, the company's not doing well. But if you say, oh no, we're doing fine, we just automated everything with AI, the investors are like, oh wow, you're rich now. You don't have to pay these stupid developers. Now making $12 billion a year. They made $1 billion in their best month. Okay, so it's even worse than that. OpenAI is cooked. All the earned media in the world, they're basically scraping up and for every day to count as that sector. Actually, I bought a ChatGPT subscription because I wanted the images to generate faster, and they're still slow even when you pay for it. And sometimes I have to like generate 10 images. Like it takes me sometimes getting the image I want literally takes me like an hour. It's not fast. Grok is faster. It was for a while. I was using Grok, but the quality of the output is worse with Grok. It was with before. I haven't tried Grok since I switched to using ChatGPT. OpenAI is far from cooked. It almost seems like it's in that. It's like so niche and so novel. Like it's so weird that I think it's going to be. It's almost like a non-financial company now. Like with Sam Altman, going to the White House and stuff like that, And I'm sure there's lots of people thinking about military applications of that, and yeah, I think it's not just gonna like go bankrupt. And of course, there's all that weird stuff about like it was a non-profit, but now it's like owned by a for-profit, and the weird structure they had. Every time you type it at ChatGPT, it costs them over $1. Yeah, they need to make it more efficient. What are my options to create a simple blog? I think you can. Some people use like static pages. I think on what is it? GitHub.io or something. I think you can do static pages with GitHub. That might be an option to look into. If you can find a static hosting solution, I would go with that as opposed to server side. With the amount of like hacking and exploits now, I wouldn't really want to host anything unless it was being maintained. They've been making a lot of upgrades. Yeah, I'll have to try Grok again. Yeah, actually, the first time I tried ChatGPT, it didn't even have images. And then I was using Grok for a while because it was the only one, or it was the easiest one to use that had image generation. Another 100 billion in R&D. I guess presumably, like the way it works, it's so. I find like ChatGPT often crashes a lot. Like I'll paste in my prompt, and then it'll do stuff, and then it just says like an internal server error occurred. And the fact that it, like, you know, something throws an exception or something, it makes me think that there must be there's probably a lot of low-hanging fruit. Like there's probably some really bad code that, like I think they when they first released it, it was showing you the cache of everyone else. So it was showing you like other people's chat sessions and stuff, and the fact that they have bugs like that makes me think there's probably like some insane, you know, huge optimizations that can be done. Startups don't need to turn a profit. We didn't turn a profit for 14 years. I mean, if you have, that's true. If you can find the investors and like the support network, which, I mean, OpenAI has that. If he's walking around in the White House and stuff, then I don't think they're going to run out of cash for a while. These are companies that provided a service that people wanted. They had massive conversion to paying customers. And OpenAI is projecting to burn 50x Uber's worst year. I mean, it is pretty... the potential ramifications of it are pretty big. I can understand why. I mean, especially if China is also doing like similar stuff with AI, the government probably wants to keep this thing afloat because they're probably like, we don't know where this is going, so we want to make sure we have this available. Because like, what if AI does lead to like a total transformation of how society operates, but then the US doesn't have it and China does? Honestly, it is kind of surprising that they're not able to make enough revenue to support it. Like the idea that like if you just think about the unit economics so far, technically, like if it never improves, that would mean that we still need graphic designers, even though we just fired them all, because if it costs 10 times as much to generate an image as it does to pay a graphic designer and spend hours, then eventually this business model will collapse and we'll go back to the old-fashioned way. But I assume they'll find optimizations. They'll probably just comment out something. They'll find it was recalculating the prompt like 100 times. Instead, they just have to do it one time. Find it hard if any conversation about budget to bring the military spending to the forefront. AI arms race, probably. $3 billion in 4 months. Actual revenue. Yeah, I mean, there's questions like, personally, I think it's too slow, but I mean, I also wonder, like, they probably could, even if the AI was slower, they could probably, like, even if it took 24 hours to get the result, there's probably still people who would use it. And if you had a 24-hour response time, you could probably massively reduce the runtime costs. Spending more money than any other tech startup has before. I mean, they're also more transformative, potentially, than any other tech startup before. The more they make, the more they lose. Well, until they fix their unit economics, and then, I mean, if they start making like operating profit, then they're making billions. Doesn't matter if they lose money. We have exponential growth on price per compute. Yeah, I mean, the AI stuff, it does make sense, I think, to keep it afloat and invest in it. The potential of it is pretty big. Especially when there's global competition doing the same thing. Because what if another company generates it and then and then the US doesn't? Then they get replaced. I keep hearing about how transformative OpenAI is. Lots of people losing jobs. I mean, that's a transformation. Honestly, actually, a lot of people have focused on the potential for AI to increase productivity. But I've actually thought of I find it easier to think about ways that AI could decrease productivity. So that's definitely transformative. I mean, it has been. I find it very useful, specifically for the image generation stuff. Claude Code Time. Sorry for the repetitives. No, I probably won't. Actually, it'll probably be it might even be a few months before I get around to that. I have so much other stuff to get through. I got a few videos. I'm 90% done the next video. I'll probably finish recording that tomorrow and then have to edit some of it. And then I may actually split it up. And then I want to finish this and get it to the next release. Cloud Code is great. It's not revolutionary. I'll never pay what it actually costs to operate. Exponential reduction in price per compute. Eventually, I guess that's something I don't have any visibility into. Who knows how inefficient their current models are. Okay, that looks better. I'm getting lots of hearts and emojis. How much will a gigawatt of compute cost in 2 years? I've heard that there's already been issues with like residents are experiencing issues. The cost of their hydro is going up. Their, I guess it's called hydro here, but electricity bills going up. That's an area where, like, all this like nonsensical money printing doesn't make any sense. If we're going to print all this money, create this like circular fake economy to build like 1 million GPUs that don't need to exist, and then calculate all these AI generated slop images of Michael Jackson, which is going to like push a whole bunch of people into homelessness. Oh, that's wrong. People take for granted that stuff will get cheaper. Intel already crashed into the Moore's Law ball years ago. Yeah, we may even have some kind of a like some huge bubble where we the AI require like mass amounts of new electricity, so we'll have this like panic to build out electricity capacity and new hydro lines and stuff, and then after the AI bubble crashes, then we'll be like, oh, we built all this electricity infrastructure, we didn't need it, now it's all wasted. Oh, that's a regression. Was that the issue? I would assume that would have coerced the type. Models are getting more and more expensive, especially the coding models, which are the most expensive. Oh, that was the issue. So it was failing comparison to integer. thanks for all the 100s for whoever's giving me all those. World energy consumption is exponential as well. We aren't going to just not need it. That's true from like an economic standpoint. But I think there's way too many economists who are just like calculating stuff in Excel, and they don't realize that if you just like massive shifts in policy and stuff have like on the ground consequences. Like a lot of this recent financialization stuff is causing massive dislocations and huge disruptions to people's personal lives. What is financialization? I'm not sure of the exact definition, but I've come to understand it as basically just like a way of doing business innovation where it's just about like how you package things or sell things or like push paperwork around. So like the idea of, just thinking about houses and mortgages and stuff as being like pieces of paper, and you repackage them and use debt, equity, and collateral, and you kind of stop thinking about the real physical assets behind stuff. You just think about these kind of imaginary things, and then leverage like policy changes to create money and supposedly drive value. But in reality, some of it is just like a perfect example is with my rent eviction process. If you can make a lot of money, there's a lot of money to be made in just buying up buildings and then violating rent control obligations, and the fact that the court system is so slow and stuff like that means, even if you get caught for doing bad things, like very little will happen to you. And a lot of that can come down to just like there's money to be made in violating the social contract and breaking the law. Violating the social contract will result in bad things. That's true. That's why it's not good for them to keep violating that social contract. Maybe I don't need that anymore. All right, we eliminated the use of that variable. Now let's hope this still works. Thank you for chatting with me. I better do some real work. Have a good night. I'll still be going with WordPress. It'll be interesting to learn how to secure it. Might go deep into who knows. Yeah, if you think it's interesting, if I was to recommend for someone to waste their time, or in a way, everything, it seems like a waste of time to learn these days, but WordPress, I would say, is one of the things that's probably it's less. I wouldn't recommend people to learn WordPress in this day and age. WordPress is it's a very mature platform, and that which makes it more complicated. Like a lot of the reason people choose WordPress today is because WordPress is so old. And people have been using it for so long, and they're kind of married to it. And there's probably a lot of developers that want to get off of it, but they have a client that uses it and has been using WordPress for years. And in terms of securing it, a lot of the issues was it had 0 days and stuff. Also, it doesn't have a normal plugin language. It's a custom language. Oh, okay. I thought it was the plugin. I think I remember I didn't, or did I? Oh no, I did have a theme. I think I did a WordPress theme, and that was in PHP, which is also not really. If I was going to recommend for someone to write something on web, PHP is probably not the language I would recommend. Yeah, it uses PHP. But the because it's a very mature platform, like it's a when did WordPress come out? I think it look up the date. It might have been like 2009 or something that it came out first, or maybe even way before that. But it was like a very early. The reason it's significant now is because it was like the first platform that did what it did, so it got really popular, and a lot of the design decisions that were made were not really very good, but they kind of 2003. Wow, yeah. So it's 22 years old as a platform. Yeah, if I was going to invest my time in learning something, it wouldn't be that. The situation where I would is if someone hired me to work on an existing platform, a legacy platform, and then they were going to pay me to basically, a premium to like waste my time learning this thing. Because it's quite possible you may spend time learning it and then never use that information ever again. But I guess if you're making websites from scratch, I'd say if you learn look into like a static hosting setup, and that to get your feet wet, because the knowledge you learn about how to make a static website, that knowledge will probably still be useful in 10, 15 years. Whereas WordPress, I don't know if WordPress will be around then. I think increasingly people are moving away from stuff like WordPress because you mentioned like trying to secure it and stuff, but I think a lot of the issue is like 0 days. My first web job was in PHP. Never used it after that. Nice. Yeah, that's how it goes. You can invest so much time in learning this garbage, and then you never end up using it again. parse error, syntax error, unexpected T, Pameum, neck. I don't know. I may have seen that somewhere before. I don't remember what it is. I'll follow the advice and go to static website generator. I mean, if you want to learn about how to make this stuff, you could consider not doing a static website generator, but you could hand write the website and then use something like GitHub.io to host whatever you have written. So that would teach you about making the HTML. But of course, the easiest thing would be, like I say, a generator. Or I guess it depends on what you want to do. So I guess the other question is, do you want dynamic content on the page? Like, do you want it to have a database and stuff? Like, do you want to be able to post comments on it? Because for that, you probably would need something like WordPress. But if the content doesn't change, or if it can be like, if it doesn't require like a database state, that dramatically simplifies the website overall. Don't want anything dynamic? Yeah, I would say then definitely go with static, because the only reason to go with WordPress is when there's dynamic content. WordPress really makes sense in the scenario. Like, let's say I'm working with non-technical marketing people. So as the dev, I will set up the WordPress website, and then I give them the link to it, and they can log in, and they can like paste stuff in there to say like, hey everyone, come buy this new thing, and they have like they just paste the text in it, and then it adds that to the database, and people can post on it, comment on it and stuff. JavaScript just loads state and then renders HTML to serve. You can make a semi-static site with template engine. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do depending on the exact requirements. But yeah, if you're interested in learning, and if you want to learn things that you will actually need in the future, I'd say just start with an empty document and then write a HTML page from scratch, and that'll kind of give you the most feedback. And also, if you just like create on your desktop like index.html and you start writing in it, you can just open that file on your computer, on your desktop in a browser, and you can get instantaneous feedback. Just keep refreshing the page, so you don't even need to install anything. Like to make small commits. Yep, gotta go slow and steady wins the race. My coding strategy revolves a lot around not introducing bugs. If you are just very careful and don't introduce bugs, you can get very far. It makes the progress feel kind of slow, but It's so much easier to verify that you haven't broken anything. Okay. I think I'm getting close to the end of what I wanted to accomplish with that grid thing. Why did it complain about these functions? Okay, that one is used. Grok just generated Grokpedia. Just released Grokpedia. Fully AI generated Wikipedia. Interesting. That'll be yeah, that'll be interesting because you can you could just change the prompt on the page. You could have Wikipedia, and then you just have a drop down. It's immediately translate this to any language, or make it sound like a pirate, or every single Wikipedia page you put it in like ooh speak mode. I don't know, I mean, it has potential. I still just Google stuff, so it would have to get picked up by Google. First, I wanted to create it to have markdown, markdown parser.html. Ended up searching for something that does all the job. Yeah, I guess it depends how much of it you want to do yourself to learn, or how much you just want to get it done. And also how much you, what exactly you need the result to do. I'll stop complaining and build it with pure HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That's the spirit. Having a confession to make, I caved and raided the Halloween candy. Literally stole candy from children. It's early. It's a couple days until Halloween. That's okay. You're just taking one for the team. Those kids probably would have eaten that candy and they would have got diabetes. So you just saved children. Candy's been in the cupboard for 2 weeks, but so strong until now. What kind of candy was it? Caramel filled chocolate. Koala? Oh, the animal? Maltesers. Not sure if you have that there. Maybe. Are those like those chocolate covered balls? And you chew them and they're like, they crunch and they kind of melt in your mouth? Malt flavored balls. Those are good. A mini pack, that'll do the trick. Enjoying the caramel koala bar? I've never had one of those. Like watermelon kitty. That's good too. Don't world domination, please. It's too late. I already started. Ophils did Pit respond. Grape Jolly Ranchers. Jolly Ranchers are pretty good too. Yeah, you gotta brush your teeth. Dentists are expensive. I would know. Oh, fantastic. That looks like it's working. Actually, that may have even fixed a bug. What does foo stand for? It's just a, I guess it's like a traditional thing you just put, like I guess in a lot of, if you look at like mathematical text and stuff, the variable I or the variable X is used a lot. The question is, why do they use I or X? And it's just kind of I think it's kind of a tradition. Actually, I don't know if I have to. Actually, if you look it up, if you Google it, you'll probably find a specific description. If I remember correctly, it might be because foo. In the military, there's the phrase effed up beyond all repair, and I think that gets shortened to foo bar, and then I think foo was one of the just like a random piece of text people write when there's needs some filler text. So maybe it originated there, because most computer stuff came from like military background stuff. So maybe some programmer in the military in 1950 wrote some text on a punch card and just said foobar, and then everyone copied and pasted it. Yeah, am I remembering that right? I guess I have to pull up the page. The browser is slow, so I won't bother. I may actually call it a night. And the assigned homework class, just look it up. Did I get it wrong? That was a good guess. Yeah, anyway, I don't have Wikipedia in my brain. What I pasted is from the wiki page. I don't see anything that was pasted. It would be on the stream text. It might have got swallowed. Either way, I'll probably call it a night. MIT early 60s where a foo denoted a system alert on a model train. Oh, okay. That was right. Yeah, I know the foo bar is a phrase. I think that originated in the military. But maybe, I don't know, if you want to, maybe that even has, where food denoted a system alert. Maybe even going back then, it was an abbreviation of FUBAR. Oh, it's right. Nice. See, I don't need Wikipedia. I got Wikipedia in my brain. All right. Have a good night, everyone.